Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome. What another terrific Thursday's edition of Talk Today. And our good friends from the National Weather Service, the Secretary General comes in and he shines with his team. We're going to get a chance to invite you to help me to welcome to our table. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard.
And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Welcome back and thanks. This is why I look across our civil service, from the core government to our statutory authorities. We see stalwarts who shine on a daily basis, and they say they call those things that aren't as if they were. Speak them into being. So maybe one day, Mr. Tibbetts, from Director General to Secretary General. That would be nice.
No, not in the plans.
Okay. As we invite you to not only share with us, but also, our new recruits, something I was thinking about in terms of, the weather and organization and international. And many times it's probably easier for some of us, because of our training or particular interests, to look at things. Maybe it's politics. We might look at the structures of governments. There may be businesses and how that is done. It could even just be within a single organization. How is it structured? But in terms of the weather, it's not just a go-to subject when people want an easy conversation. It's actually a great subject when you want, proper edification. You want to understand things better. So in the context of internationally, regionally, and nationally, what is the structure and where does, our national service, would you help us with that?
Okay. Good afternoon, all. In terms of the world structure of meteorology, we have the World Meteorological Organization as the overarching governing body, as it were. And it is a United Nations organization, headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland. Okay. Regionally, we have the Caribbean Meteorological Organization, and they are headquartered in Trinidad and Tobago. They have a training facility that's in Barbados. Okay, so and it's kind of a two-armed facility organization, as it were. And then you have the National Weather Services. Now, the Cayman Islands fits within the group that's called the British Caribbean Territories. So when we go to the World Met Organization meetings and what have you, we go as the Caribbean Meteorological Organization, and as a member of theirs called the British Caribbean Territories. Out of the British Caribbean Territories themselves, the Cayman Islands National Weather Service happens to be one of the most developed. And so the head of the British Caribbean Territories weather section, as it were, relies heavily on the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. So we're often called to provide input on a lot of things. All right? And right now, for example, my deputy, Mr. Kerry Powery, is actually serving as the head chairman of the infrastructure committee, not just for the Caribbean, but for Region 4, which includes North and Central American Caribbean and what have you. And he's doing a fantastic job. And we have a lot of other incidences where the Weather Service in the Cayman Islands are requested to provide extra duties to them as well.
And I appreciate that, and thank you. And the reason I wanted to ask is, as I was thinking about the discussion, I want to not just come in and have to champion the careers, of your new hires and but our society to start to respect and appreciate, but to become aware of the resource that we have within our shores, not just the expertise, but the experience gained, but also the way to which their input impacts the region, and to an extent globally. On many things, if in financial services we see much of our legislation being copied in many other jurisdictions, not just as competitors, but as best practices. But here, the way that you so casually, and it is part of our nature, with great humility, we just, gloss over it. But it is significant that impact a small space like this has on the region. We can think of the little I understand from, for instance, our aircraft traveling through the airspace. We have a little part to play in making sure things happen in a way that creates a safer, more enjoyable flight.
Well, not only just that, though. In the field of weather, I mean, you sit down and think about it for a second. You're flying on a flight from here to Miami, okay? And when you're on board the aircraft, you will hear the pilot say, the weather in Miami today is beautiful and sunny, and temperatures certain degree level, as it were, right? And that's because just like you've got a weather service here in the Cayman Islands, they've got a weather office in Miami, and they've got a weather office at each one of the airports and what have you. And we all collectively provide weather information to the greater populace, as it were. Interestingly enough, when you're starting to get into the weather forecasting role now, when I start to compare the pressure in Grand Cayman to the pressure in Jamaica, okay, you might look at it and go, well, you don't need Jamaica's information. Well, not quite true, because if I look at the difference in pressure between Cayman and Jamaica, it actually gives me some indication of how strong the winds are going to be. So the data from the other countries all play a role in developing weather charts and understanding what's going on weather-wise across the region.
Right. I'm going to invite you, once we come back from the break, to formally introduce both Mr. Hardigan and Mr. Thompson and talk about it. And for me, I'm hoping that as a parent, as educators and the like, that we'll see the career prospects and to appreciate that we're not just hiring people who are going to work in an office right across the street, but the training is internationally recognized. It's an opportunity for upward mobility here regionally and who knows globally.
Right.
Respect what we have, appreciate, but also understand the importance of continued, training and development. Could we, when we come back from the break, through you, have that formal introduction?
Sure, no problem.
All right, gents, I'm honored to be given this privilege to sit and to, joke and jest, but also to admire and to be inspired. To our listeners, stay tuned.
This Mother's Day, Digicel wants to take you to brunch. We're giving away brunch vouchers for you and mom to enjoy a delightful feast together. Winning is easy. Simply activate the Postpaid Supreme plan or the 30-day Prime Max plan, and you could be our lucky winner. Don't let the chance to treat mom to a special day out slip away. Visit your nearest Digicel store today or hop onto the My Digicel app for your shot at winning. Make this Mother's Day a memorable one with Digicel.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Hi, this is Juliana O'Connor Conley, the Honorable Premier of the Cayman Islands. I'm inviting you to come out to the March for Jesus, Saturday, 18th of May, 2024. Thank you very much.
Join us for the March for Jesus on the 18th of May 2024, starting at the 7 Mile Public Beach at 3 p.m. Then for our Thank You Jesus Praise and Worship concert starting at 6:30 p.m. on Albert Panton Street. For more information, visit our website at www.christian.ky and then click on the March for Jesus 2024 tab. See you at the March for Jesus.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet. Because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Teens and young people living in Cayman, it's time to use our voices. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is putting together a 10-year national health strategy, and we need to be a part of it. Do you feel heard by your doctor or healthcare provider? Are you included in making decisions about your health? Can you access the services you need easily? Tell us what you think. Email mohfeedback@gov.ky or log on to gov.ky/health-wellness and participate today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and to the Director General for Cayman's National Weather Service, Mr. John Tibbetts. I think, if you'd allow me to say, look at you, man, and proud of, your accomplishments, your acumen. You inspire us, and thank you for this opportunity to, this particular moment for us as we go into the summer as parents to look at our children and ask, your interest in math, your particular interest in other things, science related, may actually translate into great career prospects. But this is how we go about it. Through you, sir, would you do the honors and allow us to formally meet two of these fine gentlemen?
Let me just say just a few words first, in the sense that what this is about today is starting to talk about some of the young blood that's coming up. Mm-hmm. For a long part in the Weather Service's history, we haven't had a lot of this young blood in here. And for myself personally, April marked 39 years of service to the country. All right, so I know that my time is coming to an end soon. But as I go back in my history, and my primary school days are in West Bay and Georgetown primary schools, and I have a careers fair coming up to Georgetown Primary. At that point, when I was in that school, I could never have imagined getting in this kind of a path, shall we say. And so it takes some time to develop and things to flesh out, as it were. We've got two young individuals within the National Weather Service with us today. I'm going to start with the senior officer, the more senior officer, and Mr. David Thompson. Mr. David Thompson is not a new hire, but when we released the article earlier in the month, we were talking about some changes within the National Weather Service. And Mr. Thompson has been working now with us about 7, 8 years now. And he, you can't believe it's been that long, huh?
It's actually been a year longer.
Yeah.
9.
So,
9?
yeah. Wow. And he is already a qualified weather observer from Barbados, trained out of Barbados. And he has, holds a position called a Meteorological Observer 3 position. So it is like a senior weather observer type position he's in. And we've got a plan for him in the sense that we're going to try to get him to the next step on the ladder, as it were. He's getting ready to start as a training as a weather forecaster later on this year. I think in September, to be honest with you. Mr. Thompson.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
9 years, huh?
9 years, yeah. It's went very quickly.
Yeah. Certainly want you to share with us. And the reason I think over the years and speaking to Mr. Tibbetts, recognizing that there's a career trajectory, but there's time that you put in with the training. And, he said, April is 39 years. But that's, I think, through succession planning, through consciousness, and that stay in power, you move up the ranks, literally. Right? 9 years passed like it was just 9 days, huh?
Yeah, it takes time for the different training levels that you have to go through, just for availability and the length of time they take. And you need to get a certain amount of reps to be able to continue moving through. So it's flown by, yeah.
Kind of building muscle. Mm-hmm. You don't build it overnight.
Yeah.
You got to put in the time. I mean, we would know about that, Mr. Tibbetts. But I'm told that's how you build muscle.
Yeah, you keep chipping away at it, and eventually it reaches.
It reaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I commend the organization for having that career trajectory, having that level of interest in this, developing this team and the succession planning. And who knows, I think both, Miss Carey and Mr. Carey from your team, the next director generals will come from you guys. Yeah. Right. Okay, so we got Mr. Thompson.
So, and something to be pointed out about Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson actually has an associate's degree in computer science. So if you're thinking about careers in meteorology and stuff like that, that kind of tells you the kind of individuals that we're kind of looking at, individuals that are into science and math and what have you. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. Our second officer here is he is a bit of a newbie. He started with us last year, August. He's done about 5 years of internships.
Yeah, 5 years, 2018.
Yeah. So, and this is Mr. Benjamin Harding, and he is a trainee weather forecaster. Mm-hmm. He started with us last August after a well planned out, well thought out process, path that he's been taking. Mm-hmm. He went over to the UK and got himself a bachelor's degree in environmental science. But one thing that was very unique about it is that they allowed him to select a very high percentage of weather courses. So when he showed me the stuff that he studied and what have you, and I was looking at what I did in Barbados in my forecasting areas, there was a lot of it that he covered already. So under the government policies and what have you, if you've got somebody, a young Caymanian, and they are go away and they're getting a bachelor's degree or something like that, and it is in a specialized area, and there's a job position available, you can move into that position fairly easily. I mean, we do have to go through with the deputy governor and all this kind of stuff, but it's not necessarily the regular hiring processes. So
Right.
this is how we ended up hiring Mr. Harding here. As I said, it was well thought out, and he had been coming with us and building up his work experience for a number of years after graduation finally coming in. And of course, one of the key things always is to stay in contact with the organization that you're trying to go to work with. So me and Mr. Harding was always communicating with each other. And he is yesterday or the day before actually marked his completion of his weather forecasting course. So he's now sitting back waiting for his grades, and then we'll move on to a checkout process.
Awesome. I want, through you, because I think it's important for us as prospective employees, but also as current employers, to have a training and development module to put in place an effective plan as we recruit. We want to retain. Can I first start, with Mr. Harding, in that, you've done 5 sort of years of internships. You've done your bachelor's. And a similar question to Mr. Thompson, but since he's the senior of the juniors, what made you, Benjamin, want to be in the national services, the Met Service, get into, the Met Office in particular, and then you've done your undergrad. What was it that drove you there? I mean, share with us.
Honestly, it was quite a drastic change from what I initially had wanted to do. It was more of just finding something I loved doing in my first year of A-levels. Because before I decided on the path I'm on now for weather, I was leaning towards either aviation or, say, history or something like that. And initially I was looking at universities and stuff to do history or military history, anything relating to that. And then just that one summer I decided, I'm going to go try an internship at the Met Office and see if I like it, because aviation and weather together were my passions from when I was younger. So I thought, I'll try it. Did it for the 1 year for the summer, and from that point on, I loved it. I loved the atmosphere, I loved the work. It made it all, that much more enjoyable. The fact that I could find something I loved so young. So then, from that point on, I was leaning towards weather all the way. So I was looking at universities that did meteorology and environmental science and whatnot, and that's kind of how I set forth on the path I'm on now.
I like that. You see, you like the atmosphere. No pun intended. But David, let me just round it off. Almost a decade. I mean, why not? I mean, it's just a year different. What not only like Benjamin, attracted you to it, but now you've been there, you've gone through the training, you've seen the consistency, the dedication, but you also have to put in. You got to be diligent. You got to be, committed to it. Almost 10 years in, what made you stay? So what attracted you, and what has kept you?
Well, my start was a bit different. So I basically came almost fresh out of high school. So I was looking for a career at the time, and I wasn't really sure where to go. I saw this job offer on the government website, and I was like, this seems like an interesting career path. So I applied, I got through, and ever since I first came in, the people that I have to work with as co-workers, they're all very great. I enjoy working with basically all of them. Don't really have any problems there, and it's been good there. We've been able to come in, and I've realized everyone's just had to help build the weather service. So even though I came in as a trainee and got trained, got to different things, I've also been a part of helping to build different parts of the National Weather Service. And I think that feeling of being able to be a part of something is what kept me there.
Purpose, right? Belonging. And I recognize, I'm going to be respectful to Ms. Susan. We'll take the final break of our segment. But as I go in, again, to colleagues, co-workers, and to employees in particular, the environment you create can be one of constructive dismissal, and you want to get rid of people for whatever reason, or it could be one that encourages, motivates, nurtures, supports, and 40 years later, you've got a team. I think that's why many have stayed within the civil service, because it's a way of, if I can borrow David's words, you're contributing to your country, you're building, you're serving your nation. And maybe, Mr. Tibbetts, when we come back, talk a bit more about where they are, where they're going, what you want to share. Fair enough?
Sure.
All right, please stay tuned.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com. This Mother's Day, Digicel wants to take you to brunch. We're giving away brunch vouchers for you and mom to enjoy a delightful feast together. Winning is easy. Simply activate the postpaid Supreme plan or the 30-day Prime Max plan, and you could be our lucky winner. Don't let the chance to treat mom to a special day out slip away. Visit your nearest Digicel store today or hop onto the My Digicel app for your shot at winning. Make this Mother's Day a memorable one with Digicel.
Attention Bordentown residents. The Department of Environmental Health Bordentown Bulk Waste Collection will take place between May 20th to 25th. This bulk waste collection will replace the traditional year-end collection. Household appliances, furniture, and other items too large to be handled by the weekly DEH collection crews should be placed by the roadside where it is easily accessible to the DEH collection crews. Metals and vegetation should also be separated from other bulk items. Do not obstruct the roadway or storm drains or place tires, construction and demolition waste, hazardous materials, or electronics. For more information on the Bordentown Bulk Waste Collection from May 20th to 25th, please contact the DEH's Solid Waste Management section at 949-6696.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us, and to the Director General for the Cayman National Weather Service, Mr. John Tibbetts. And as much as I look at it and try to be a little bit lighthearted, I recognize that, in David Thompson's words, almost 10 years compared to your almost 40, relatively speaking, from the Met Office perspective, those are still relatively short times because the career path, the training, the expertise, and the experience that comes over doesn't happen overnight. It's probably similar to being a medical professional. You have a lot of training and specialization and then further fellowships, and 40 years into your practice, you're still doing just that, practicing.
Yeah.
So I want maybe using that as a premise, tell us about going forward, where you are now, what you have a plan, training, and the other recruits and the legs, sir.
Okay. Well, let's first touch bases on the individuals that are not here today, and that is more of the young blood. All right, there are actually 4 of the individuals that were supposed to have joined us here today. Unfortunately, 3 of those are currently overseas training, and 1 is here training on the island. So we have Mr. Dwayne Leslie. He is a trainee observer. He's an aeronautical observer. Went to the UK Met Office College, and he's now an internationally qualified aviation observer. And he is doing some classes at UCCI to further himself and get along for the next promotion up the ladder in the organization. We also have 2 newbies, as it were, and one started in February of last year, and the other one started in August of last year. I think Mr. Harding and one of the officers joined maybe about a week apart, if I remember correctly. So to say that we're having some young blood is definitely true. The young man, first of all, is Mr. Dwayne Leslie. He is currently overseas trying to. He already is a qualified observer, but he is getting more advanced observing training in Barbados right now. And we have Miss Mia Mothan, and she is a trainee observer trying to become a qualified meteorological observer herself. And they are both at the training center in Barbados. Okay, the last member of the team that did some movement last year was Mr. Shamal Clark, and Mr. Clark filled the position of manager for research and media services. Interesting, that Mr. Thompson over there has a tendency to work quite closely with Mr. Clark on media type matters and what have you, social media in particular, while Ben over here has a tendency to do a little bit more research with him and what have you. So those are the other 4 members of the staff that were supposed to be here. 3 of those have less than a year of service, along with Mr. Ben here. So that's 4 new officers that we've got, and I thank the government for investing in the National Weather Service with the staffing that we're getting. The Cayman Islands National Weather Service has 2 entry-level positions in the organization. One is an entry-level observer position. And for your entry-level, to become an entry-level observer, your high school level qualifications qualifies you for that. You need essentially math and physics. Okay, it's math, physics, and English, but I'm not going to beat you up on English. We live in an English-speaking country. All right. So, and the other one is a trainee forecaster. And under the trainee forecaster is when you need to have a specialized bachelor's degree in a related science at the very least, to be able to come into that position. The World Meteorological Organization realized a long time ago that we were having people that were coming in not at the entry level at the base, but were coming in from the sides, as it were. And so they put in place a program for people that were graduating with bachelor's degrees in related sciences. And so they created this program, and it's called a Basic Instructional Package for Meteorologists. Okay, and that's the course that Ben is doing, and he has been on that course since October, and I guess he just finished it. He just announced to me that he's finished all his classes now. So as I said, he's now in a waiting mode. So this is actually the second individual that we've actually got where they had a career path and they were going into college and were going to do a bachelor's degree. In Mr. Harding's case, he knew before he went and did his bachelor's degree, but we had Miss Forbes, who kind of she was getting ready to graduate with a bachelor's degree in physics and go what kind of career is this going to be now? So, and we're always interested in individuals with scientific minds and what have you that can fit in with our program and be developed into a meteorologist. For our entry-level position at the observer ranks, it is focused. It is a position that we only consider Caymanians for the position. So usually what I end up happening is I sit in the human resources office and they kind of give me two piles of papers. One is the applicants for Caymanians, the other one is the expatriate type applicants. And I look at the observer, the Caymanian applicants. I got to make sure that we've got some reasonable applicants in there. Once I've confirmed that I've got a reasonable applicants, then we can look at the expatriate workers and stuff like that. But generally speaking, the decision is already made. Not for the specific individual, but the fact that we have good Caymanian applicants for the entry-level position.
Nation building, no?
Yeah.
Succession planning.
Yeah.
And as you have with your team, frequently, and I recognize recently, not as often because of schedule demands, and we want to be able to continue to highlight the remarkable work that's being done. But in the interest of time, through you, perhaps first to Mr. Harding and then Mr. Thompson, any sort of final thoughts in terms of expectations, desires, plans. Share as you are willing.
Well, because I'm the fresh blood at the moment. I can't say I have too much plans at this point. Besides the part of John had mentioned before about me going into more of the research aspect. Besides that, I can't really say I have much of an idea what's going to happen in 5-10 years down the line. Hopefully to still stay and keep representing the country as I can, whether it's on island or abroad, who knows. But hopefully I can keep on that path, basically.
So for me, I am looking to continue being a part of building the National Weather Service. The next step for me is to become a forecaster. Then I will complete my bachelor's in computer science, which will aid me in moving on further in being able to deal with a lot of the technological issues that we have in our office. We had a very great individual that recently retired that used to basically deal with all of that for us, and there is a gap that now needs to be filled. We have people that already work on it, but extra hands is always necessary.
Like that commitment, like that sense of vision. Definitely the passion is there and you have the intellect. So I pray you continue to be guided and you find the success, man.
Thank you. I will say, Sterling, that what I have a tendency to do with the staff is that when they get to certain points on the scale, as it were, within their career path, we have 4 core meteorology, and then we've even got an instruments section. And so at some point, I start to get them to go, hey, you go work with the climate and observing section for a bit, see what it's about, and see if that's where your passion is. Or go into aviation and forecasting section, or go into research and media. And then you can then come back to me and said, well, John, I'd like to be focused a little bit more in that particular area. And then we can think about workshops that you might attend, or how you can be an assist in building that section. David, for example, as I said, he is doing some work there with building the media and research section as it is right now. Young blood over here, he will. I expect him to step it up as time goes along. In his particular case, we wanted to focus on him getting himself to the point where he's a qualified weather forecaster first. Once we get past that point, we can start to more direct some of his attention and take him on some of these conferences and stuff like that, and expose him to the wider world.
Yeah. Well, this is where plan, a vision, a desire and determination with effective execution can bring us to a place of not just success personally, but I like how Benjamin referenced it, national service. Hey, thanks very much to both of you. All the best in your continued careers, man. I'm hoping that as parents, as we're listening, we start to encourage your children and get them to become aware that there are many, many wonderful, rewarding careers in Cayman that can take them globally, but as they serve nationally. So thanks very much. Mr. Tibbetts, to you and your team, and commended your continued contribution to uplifting the career paths of our Caymanians. Yep. All right, we're going to pause, right, Ms. Susan? Dance a taste of chocolate during the break. All right, stay tuned for Talk Today.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Sollins. The Cayman Islands Postal Service advises the public that the General Post Office in Georgetown will close over the holiday weekend, May 18th till the 20th, to undergo tenting and fumigation procedures. Customers are encouraged to clear their post boxes before the evening of Friday, May 17th, as access to post boxes will be temporarily restricted until the fumigation process is complete. In international news, at least 11 worshippers have been killed and dozens others injured after a man attacked a mosque in Nigeria. A man allegedly sprayed the mosque with petrol and locked its doors before setting it on fire, trapping about 40 worshippers, police said. The attack was triggered by a family dispute over the sharing of inheritance. Police say they have arrested a 38-year-old suspect. The incident happened when people were attending morning prayers on Wednesday. Kansas City Chief Star Harrison Butker has faced criticism for attacking abortion rights and telling women graduates at Benedictine College that one of their most important roles in life is to be a homemaker. The Chiefs have not commented, and the NFL said it was a personal matter. However, more than 90,000 people signed a petition calling for his dismissal. In his speech on May 11th, the 3-times Super Bowl winner addressed women graduates in the crowd, telling them that they had been told the most diabolical lies. His speech at the Catholic private college also attacked IVF, surrogacy, pride marches, degenerate cultural values, dangerous gender ideologies, and abortion rights. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Sollins.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
The Health Services Authority has over 120 world-class physicians offering the most comprehensive range of specialist services on island. Our dedicated team of professionals provide the highest quality care in orthopedics, interventional radiology, women's health, geriatrics, and a host of other specialist areas. We are a JCI accredited organization with a proven record of excellence. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you. For more information, visit hsa.ky.
At Kirk Market, it's so easy to eat well and find healthy options. With their fresh veggies from local farmers, hormone-free chicken, local seafood, and grass-fed meats, Kirk Market has delicious, quality food at the best prices. And you must check out their fresh salad bar, hot bar, and med bar for daily healthy options on the go. Their delicious dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients such as prime meats and organic veggies. Eating great is important to me. That's why Kirk Market is my store. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and shop happy.
Born in Watering Place, Cayman Brac, on the 8th day of July, 1936, Captain Fred Elman Scott was the 5th child born to Nalio and Vera Scott. Captain Scott worked the seas for over 52 years, a career which saw him span the global currents. In 1953, he joined his first ship, the Beretta, a local cargo vessel, signing on as deck boy, working his way up to bosun. In 1955, he joined National Bulk Carriers, working his way up to able-bodied seaman. In 1959, he signed on the Ore Meteor to go to Marine School in New York, attaining a third mate's license. He joined the Bulk Petrel as third officer, where during one voyage he was solely responsible for using Morse lamp signaling to save a sister ship which had run aground. He continued to flourish and attained second mate, chief mate, master mariner, and radio operator licenses. In October of 1969, he took a job on oil exploration ships as a captain in Brazil. Captain Scott would later move from Brazil, where he spent the next 20 years piloting cruise ships and tankers in Grand Cayman.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet. Because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And looks like it's going to be some open line until there isn't. Well, 2 p.m. Get a chance to speak to our good friends from the Crisis Center. You know, the power of the purse will be that discussion, but that's at 2. So between now and then, well, I'm certainly here. Are you? Let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
And to you, how are you today?
Getting there, feeling pretty good. Had a rough day on Sunday, but I'm getting there. Thank God.
Thank God, indeed. I trust you will feel better each day, all right?
Yeah, definitely. I've got to have a little faith.
You know, Billy Joel has a song all about faith, right? All about love, all about trust. Hey, gotta have a little faith.
Yeah, gotta have a little faith.
That's how it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope I can get what I want to say in before your guests come.
Well, you go ahead and you say your piece. I'm going to listen and hang on to every word.
Okay, I want to start out with Cayman Wireless line flow. You know what I mean? All is the names that they have had that I can recall. Sterling, you have a pay-as-you-go phone, right? And you call yourself have that there little reserve case emergency, the other one may go down or you don't have any period, whatever case may be.
Right.
You put a couple dollars at it, and here you are thinking that when you're going to go and use this phone, you got your money that you put on the phone.
It won't last for a certain amount of time.
So, but Cayman Wireless takes off the money on a daily basis from your, or weekly basis from your phone, and you haven't made one phone call. You haven't made one phone call from the money put on the phone, and Cayman Wireless takes off. I don't know what it is, a service charge or what kind of charge it is. Pay as you go.
Yeah.
When you're thinking you got credit on your phone and when you go to you have no credit. Can you imagine?
You know, when you look at that, and if I'm understanding, you know, what you're sharing as well, is that you put it there, you think it should be, a couple of things come to mind. I understand that in relation to, say, a gift card, you buy someone a gift card, say $50, a gift certificate or the like, but it's only good for a month, 6 months, a year.
No. It's good for a year.
Yeah.
It's good for a year. But your money that goes on your phone and you don't use your phone, Cayman Wireless takes it off on the weekly, daily, monthly, hourly, minutely. I don't know how to do it. Or when you think you got money on your phone, you ain't got no money on your phone. What you put on there? And I think that is highway robbery. And that's been going on from day one.
Right.
But I have never, brought it up. But it's going on from day one.
Yeah. Well, let me then ask, right? Let's take banks, for instance. A bank, you have opened up an account at bank A, you've satisfied what are the requirements. We understand that for, say, a checking account, we come to expect and we accept there's going to be a fee, But let's say it's a savings account. Some would say, but why should there be a fee on that savings account? It may be as much as $5, $10 a month. It may be, $3, $4. But why are you being charged a fee? Is that any different than, say, the telephone company is saying, okay, well, we're going to take off every day, every week, every month, whatever, some money out of your account?
It's a pay as you go.
Uh-huh.
I could see if it was your what do you call it, straight line?
Right.
Pay as you go. Even with the banks, say for example, right? You have a savings there, and you going to pull money from it. You got to make sure that you leave. Let's say $500.
Mm-hmm.
If you hit $500, if you go hit on that $500, they're going to give you a service charge to the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the purpose of having your money in the bank too? If you got a $500 in there and you need $200 from that, and you go and pull that, they're going to take a service charge from your $500.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like when I had my mortgage in the bank. But I was in the bank for almost 25 years, Sterling. And let me tell you something. No, sorry, almost 25 years, almost.
Wow.
1 year less. And Sterling, the time that I was there, the last 4 years, I believe it was, that I had left inside there, that I come to find out. That every time that I go to make a payment on my loan, they got to send back a couple of days later, a week or so, and tell me, you're short of $32 on your loan. And I'm like, $32? If they say my loan is $600, I'm going to put $600, right? But what they were doing, Sterling, the computer was charging to go to the account to take the money out, and made my loan $32 short. And that went on for years and 12 years until a friend of mine told me, hey, go to the bank and ask them for 5 years printout. And when I went to the bank to get 5 years printout, you know what the person said to me? Boy, John, you're a bad paymaster. I'm like, no, I'm not a bad paymaster. I tell what they say my loan is. But you have to say your loan is $600. You got to put at least another $10 to $15 in that account. Because the computer, they say, automatically charges your account to take the money out. It was going to savings, and then it goes in there and take it out, and they're going to charge you to go and service your account to pay your loan. Can you imagine that audacity? That audacity. Thank God that I don't have that no bank to deal with right now, because the day this car goes down, I guess I'll be walking and hitching, But Sterling, we're gonna leave that one alone.
Mm-hmm.
I want to. I remember some time ago on the radio, one of the government came on, the Sterner came on, talking about these garbage bins that was going to be put into the Prospect area. Well, I can't recall hearing how well it has worked, and if any other part of the island has them, or will the other part of the island be able to use these garbage bins like they have there in Prospect. I was in Prospect this morning, and I was doing a little grand tour to Prospect, and I saw the garbage bins out there here and there. Some is there to be collect. Some is not by the road, which is, I guess, it brings them out in time for the garbage truck, which is not a problem. But I don't know what type of truck it is. They're picking these little garbage bins up, and you're not hearing anything, or I haven't heard that if we got more coming, and we're going to start now West Bay or in the center of Georgetown or wherever the case may be. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
MP, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can go and do what they want to do for the area. There's nothing wrong with that. But the fact of the matter is, we all one person, one people here on this island, and not because they are divided up, but you can do for your area, but you can't do for Bordentown. They got to get together and say, you know what, we got to spread this out.
Mm-hmm.
They're all working for the island, but some of these people believe that they're only working for their area and their area only. But I'll leave that alone there. But I want to know where else going to be getting these garbage bins. What does the truck look like? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Is it effective? Can it be rolled out to other places? What would be the impact of doing it? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Sterling, yesterday we had a car turn up there by Hurley's yesterday morning. I came down after 6 o'clock, and when I was going back up like 8:30, 20 minutes to 9, there was this car laying on the side there, on the left-hand side. Apparently it was coming from east, right?
Mm.
And it was laying on the side. And Sterling, the traffic for these people to go to work, it was unbelievable to know that so many people got late yesterday for their work because I'm going to say how I feel it and see it. Stupidness on our roads, interfering with other people's lives and jeopardizing their jobs because you're doing stupidness on our roads. Sterling, I went to California many years ago, me and my brother and Stan. We drove from Arizona, okay? They was into the dark, and they, Peter and Stan, so I was there visiting in Arizona with my brother, and we going to California. I'm like, California? All right, so I got in the back seat, and the two of them up front, and we drive into California. And Sterling, when you got to a certain location, Sterling, there was tons and tons of posters on the road with bad accident, with these cars where it was crushed to the max, trying to show people this is what can happen to you if you drive like an idiot on our streets. This is what could happen to you out here. And I think, Sterling, they say some years ago in Cayman, we don't want no posters up on the streets, and we don't want no billboards, and we don't want no this, and we don't want no that. We don't want no telephones, and we don't want no TVs in the rooms for the visitors that come into the Caymans. Oh, really?
Mm.
Look at us now. Look at how big we have grown. But I say all that to say this. All of these cars that is being in accidents, somebody need to look in and see about getting some of these cars posted on posters on the side of the road to see if they can try to wake up some people, because then they got signs saying use indicator. They got signs saying get in this lane. They got signs saying this, and they got signs saying that, and nobody's taking heed. Now they got 30 miles an hour circle in the road down in South Sound and somewhere up going east. I haven't been east in a while, so I know I went through South Sound just yesterday, and they got this 30 mile zone in the middle of the road. Sterling, how much more do we have to show these people how to drive and to be careful on these streets? Sterling, we got 101 different places here selling liquor as the doors open until they close at night. We got the guys that drive these big old trucks. We got construction guys. We got companies out here that go to do jobs at various places. I have seen them with my own eyes go into these liquor stores and come up with what we call a little flask, and then they come up with a beer. And what they're going to do, jump in their vehicle and drive and go on about their business. They should not be allowed to drink and drive while they are on someone's job or even their own job. It should be a drinking after hours. And we don't even know if that is part of what's happening on our roads, but it probably could be. But it needs to be stopped.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be stopped in some shape or form. And yesterday when Mr. Clifford on the radio there, I heard a little piece of the conversation. And I just want to say, I want to take my hat off to him for what he came out yesterday
mm-hmm.
and try to explain to us how these Cubans, how it worked with the Cubans here in the Cayman Islands. They had to go through all different type of channels, but we all get up and say, do this and do that. And certainly we cannot help everybody because we're a small island, and when you're going to spend that kind of money on trying to take care of these people until they can get them back to where they have to go, it is a lot of money because, including myself, I'm here in need, and there's other people here in need who needs a home, who needs transportation, who needs food, who needs jobs, and so much more. A lot of money is being spent. But the fact of the matter is, you see, when you don't come out and give the full blueprint of everything that you do on this island, you're not doing anything right. So I applaud him for breaking down what he felt that needed to be broken down yesterday, try to give us some clarity on this situation. You understand? Because Sterling, I am not happy with what is happening, but it's nothing I can do. I'm just a little old two-legged Caymanian that has very little to say and very little to do. But I just want to say that we don't know one day where we may have to go and who's going to rescue us because we are surrounded by water. And let me tell you something, Sterling, we have a lot of people on this island who can't even swim. And I think with this election coming up here next year, they better start telling people they got to open a swimming, what a place called Walker's Road, the Lions Pool. Free swimming lessons for all who want to go and learn how to swim. Because one day, Sterling, they're going to have to learn to swim on this island. They're going to have to learn to swim one day. So I just want to say that, you know, a lot of money being spent. But he said they just can't put them on the plane and take them back where they have to go. They got to go through all the right channels. And I'm quite sure we as Caymanians would like for them to go to the right channels to take us back to our country if we was to leave our country. Because if you don't think that we can have us free from here one day, we all got a big mistake coming. We all got a big mistake coming. And boy, I'm asking the Lord to please let me live to see 200 years of age. And I want to see. But anyhow, Sterling.
Well, thank you.
I will let you go on that.
Yes.
And we will talk later. All right?
All right. Thank you so much, and take care. And, have a good afternoon. Well, to what the callers said, anything that you want to ask or add? 949-8037, 949-6990. You can also WhatsApp call. Use the WhatsApp number to message, call, or send a voice note, 925-32-621. And share with us. As I unpack much of what the caller was sharing, the last thing is, she said, if we all have to flee from here, where would you go? And would you go before concerted effort to try to protect and preserve what we have? Perhaps try to, do something to mitigate whatever the potential negative impact that you see maybe transpiring. The notion that she referenced, I'm glad she identified that Mr. Clifford and his team, they came on, they gave us very accurate, timely information in a very direct way. Very professional, but they, as shared, didn't mince any words. They said, but it was something that was shared yesterday and again just then with the last caller. Yes, a lot of the migrants who come are Cuban nationals, but not all the migrants are Cubans. With that in mind, following on, and I'm still trying to figure out how best to have that discussion. Someone asked the question after the show yesterday, just in passing, as I was going through a space, said, how come we can label some people sometimes in a negative way, assign certain parameters. We say the Cuban migrants, knowing that not all the migrants are Cuban, maybe primarily that's the case. But when it comes to other things, why are we so either cautious, sensitive, and as she phrased it, unwilling to say, well, this thing is mostly as a result of that thing, but we don't say it. We're polite. Even me trying to talk to it, I'm saying, is it because we don't want to be emotive and inflammatory, or is it that we're not quite sure, sufficiently informed as to how to have that? Well, it boils down to maybe that caller's last point. Are things happening in Cayman to the extent that we are either unsure as to how it's happening, who's driving it? Is it that we have a level of unwillingness to acknowledge and as a consequence address those things? Or is it that we are so busy that we are oblivious to these things happening? Well, as she referenced, there's an elections that are coming next year. But the politicians are not elected in a vacuum. It doesn't just happen overnight. Or we see the things now is it that we have an unreasonable expectation of what politicians can accomplish, whether in a 4-year term or longer? Or is it that they are expected to overpromise and underdeliver because that's what gets them elected? We are the voters, that's what we want. If the politician, for example, was to say, hey, guys, we don't have any money for this. Guys, the country needs to do this in order to get that. And if those are, quote unquote, the tough decisions that we know the country needs to make, if the politician does that, do you think the politician would get, elected or re-elected? Well, I want to hear from you. See what you think. 949-8037, 949-6990. What are you looking at when it comes to the next government? What are you asking of this remaining time of the current government? What, if I may ask of you, are you, the individual, willing to do, maybe stop doing, maybe do differently? Many times we are quick and probably justified in castigating, condemning, criticizing, complaining. Now, I don't know that that's always healthy, but if we do it constructively, critique something, might be. But as we look at others, are we also willing to look at ourselves? Now, 949-8037. That's one option that you can use to call us. We want to hear from you. 949-6990 is another option. And then you can WhatsApp call 925-3261. If you use that number, sorry, Miss Susan, she's telling me, sorry. Yeah. And this really Cayman app is down. Yeah. So she's reminding us to tell you, our listeners, that our apologies are extended. Our Radio Cayman app is unavailable right now. But of course, the Facebook and the YouTube and the good old fashioned radio. Do we have radios anymore? I know Nurse Dipner has, made it a personal mission to put a radio in everyone's hand. At least those radios are great. I know we come to a space where we like to see what I'm saying. Necessarily we want to hear it. We want to be able to see it. And seeing, sometimes we get more information, even unconsciously. Sometimes we see things and draw inferences, even when it was unintended. And at many times, the seer was unaware that was being inferred. But body language, they say, communicates more than the words alone. So 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp call 925-3261. Looking like we'll have open line for the remainder. And at 2 o'clock, we're going to get a chance to talk about the power of the purse. Now, I don't know that it is 100% accurate, but I believe that it is. A saying ascribed to, one of the Rothschilds that goes to the effect that if you show me who controls the purse strings, I'll show you who calls the shots. Translated in many ways, you pay the piper, you call the tune, and this, that, and the next thing. And I say that to share that the purse, sometimes we look at it, and I'm not going to speak to that particular discussion, but the money, you have ownership, you have skin in the game, you're invested in this thing. If you're willing to, another wonderful cliche that we say, put your money where your mouth is. Well, are we willing to step up, stand in the gap? And if not, are we able and willing to listen to others who are trying to do so? And are we going to be prepared for the consequences that come? Because we are, for whatever reason, unwilling or unable to participate, to make things as best as they can, because we're going to give of our individual time, talent, and treasure. Well, when we come back, I want you to share your thoughts with us. We can talk about a number of things, or we can always, be accused of what many say happens. We put our eyes in our ears and have them sort of blinded in such a way that we are oblivious to what's happening, willfully sometimes. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
This Mother's Day, Digicel wants to take you to brunch. We're giving away brunch vouchers for you and mom to enjoy a delightful feast together. Winning is easy. Simply activate the postpaid Supreme plan or the 30-day Prime Max plan, and you could be our lucky winner. Don't let the chance to treat mom to a special day out slip away. Visit your nearest Digicel store today or hop onto the My Digicel app for your shot at winning. Make this Mother's Day a memorable one with Digicel.
The transition to liquid natural gas will play a critical role in CUC's strategy as they transition to significant reliance on solar energy. Want to learn more? Visit www.cuc-cayman.com for more information.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments May 21st through the 25th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you are seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.portercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 949-9020.
Hey there, bargain hunters. Get ready for some serious savings at Cayman Turtle Center's tent sale. It's all happening Saturday, May 25th from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. But be quick because it's first come, first served. Swing by the Cayman Turtle Center courtyard and score amazing deals on everything you need. We have candles, kitchenware, clothing, swim gear, and a whole lot more waiting for you. Brought to you by Splash Gift Shop at Cayman Turtle Center. Visit Cayman Turtle Center's social media for more info. We'll see you there.
Our climate is changing, and so is Cayman. Stronger and more frequent hurricanes, longer periods of drought, sea level rise, and higher temperatures are already impacting our communities. If we take nature into account before we act, we can harness nature's benefits and reduce the devastation caused by natural disasters. Because when we put nature front and center, nature can provide the solutions.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. It is open line 949-8037, 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp call 925-32621 and share your thoughts with us. And a few of our listeners, are weighing in on a number of the concerns, and let's see if we can share this one. This listener writes that, the whole notion of when we're looking at the cost of living and the wages being paid to employees, now that it's proposed to increase the minimum wage. This person, as I paraphrase, sharing that, unlike many places, we have a minimum wage. There isn't one that exists. This person put forward two perspectives. One, when we have that wage, should we make distinctions between the type of employment sector and suggest that when we make that carve out for the hospitality sector relative to the inclusion of gratuities, so that the minimum wage is actually less than, because tips and gratuities can be included, or really create the potential. Now, I am paraphrasing the exchange between this individual and the initial message sent, maybe we are creating much more administrative headaches as opposed to what this person suggests. The minimum wage is $5, $10, $50, whatever specific sum, and would apply to these individuals. But further, when you can have an employee in the quote, professional management sector, say in lieu of overtime or the like, then you are able to just be paid a straight salary. Does that potentially lead to someone having to work, to very, very late, and beyond the 8-hour day or 9-hour day, whatever the contracted day is, whether prescribed by law or by practice, and not be rewarded with any extra pay, maybe the hope of a promotion or a bonus? In that person gives as an example of having worked in the financial services sector, and depending on the time of year, the person shares, as an example, if you're managing companies, you have to get the file in annual returns in. There are certain times where you work late to be able to meet the requisite deadlines, get all that information. If it's in other areas where you have financial statements to prepare, you have reviews to do in order to comply with the government licensing requirements, that may mean that for that 3 or 6 months in every year, you're going to have that season where you're working particularly, late, not in many instances different from your colleagues, but you're all in the office till 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the evening. Not because you're not there early in the day or you're not working, it's just the demand, but you're not getting any more than your monthly salary, whatever that sum is. Hopefully, as this person types, your bonus, your promotion, your recognition as to your contribution to the bottom line will translate into something tangible, quote, financial remuneration. The second thing the person places is that now that we're seeing the former Bermuda Premier, whether for politics or not, this person types, share, well, we should consider that the minimum wage is only, for the citizens of a country and not those on a work permit. Well, I sent back a message to ask the individual, well, if you did that, would that do two things? On the basis of fairness, are you discriminating against people just because of their, immigration status? Would that be the same, and would we accept it if it was age or gender or, some other thing? And then the second thing is, would that then make the employment of those individuals much more attractive because it's cheaper to hire somebody in that vein? Now, I'll wait to see the response. And it wasn't done to be argumentative. It was just perhaps there's a justifiable reason as to why the person said what was said. Now, the other thing that sort of came into that was the question that I asked the person that I asked, should pensions and the like also be something that every employee pays? There are many who say, well, if you're here on a work permit, then you don't pay a pension. There are many who would respond and say, well, that makes sense, but then does it? Maybe it does. Share with us, what is your thought, and how does that affect the cost of business? What does that do for the employee both now and down the road? And perhaps, as some would also ask, well, should the pensions administrator, the manager or thereof, be required to either perform and if not be paid? Well, how does that work? 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp call 925-3261, and share your thoughts. At the end of the day, is this something that helps to move the country forward in terms of its success for employment opportunities for all and sundry, and in particular its own people? Or is it something that we're just functioning and we're going along to get along? 949-8037 or 949-6990. Let's go to the phones. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling. Dwayne Sterling.
Hey, you pick it up from Mr. Dolan, man. Boy, we miss him, huh?
I can't.
I tell you, man. I tell you.
Number two. Bottler man to the number 2 then, all right.
Now what Mr. O.C. call you, the bottler man.
Bottler man.
James Albert Christian.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. How you doing?
Good man, good man. Maybe one day, there'll be, James Albert Christian the fourth.
Well, I already got a second, so
See?
I don't know about the fourth.
But in time.
No, man, them days done. It too hot now for that. Them days done. There's no more real days around,
Yeah. You know what? I can leave that be for now for Susan says she get time and switch.
Yeah, that for me you talk out on the tree, man.
Good to hear from you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks for following me. I know I had nothing to mention regarding what your topic was there about the banking system and everything else, but I'll leave that for another time to topic on that. But I just want to mention one thing, and that is the inter-island flights.
Mm-hmm.
The island air flights. Well, we still call them island air flights. To and fro, Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, even Little Cayman. Dwayne, can you tell me what makes the most added flights in the Cayman Islands? Where? What destination?
I haven't seen the Cayman Islands statistics, so offhand I could only guess.
You want me to tell you which destination it comes from?
Tell me.
Cayman Brac. There are more flights into Grand Cayman via Cayman Brac than any other country that comes to Grand Cayman for a week, for a month, for a year. The flights between Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac totals more than the flights coming in from any other part of the United States. If you doubt it, you can check the statistics and prove it.
Okay.
And why I say that is to say this. We here on Cayman Brac, now Saturday and Sunday, the Twin Otters doubles up on their flights to Little Cayman, Cayman Brac, Grand Cayman. Through the week, Cayman Bracers need to get to Cayman for their medical and have their get there for their appointments on time. We are locking flights in and out of Cayman Brac through the week. And I know for a fact, because by me being a former fireman, Tuesdays are less of a day of flights because of maintenance. They use Tuesdays for maintenance flights. That's why they don't have as much inner island flights as Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we are locking flights in this island that needs to be checked. And I have said it many times before, that Cayman Airways can waste money because Barbados government were paying them. And when I said it on the radio that they were going to make a mistake by wearing out the aircraft flying back and forth, carrying 4 or 6 people a week, to and fro Barbados and back to Grand Cayman, I was mocked and laughed at. But now they're seeing that what I said coming true. But they can't implement more flights. They can't add 2 Twin Otters flying per day to Cayman Brac right through the week in order to get people from the Brac to Grand Cayman, in order to have their medicals done and their checks done. They have to be rushing back to the airport in order to catch one flight that is only going back to the Brac, and that's it until the next morning. It's about high time. And I hope the minister, and I hope everyone of them that listening, and I hope that they got their ears open and they got them clean good. Because I am sick and tired of how Cayman Bracers is being treated in this area of our airlines. Because we are a part of the Cayman Islands just as much as anybody else.
Right.
And I don't see why we should be neglected in that kind of sense, and our people here struggling to make to get what they need in the correct fashion and form.
Right. I hear you. And I don't want to, I want you to continue, but I also want to pick you up on the airlift between here and the sister islands, right? So as you share this, remind me that I want to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Now, would you say that, well, we have to break with Susan? Okay, you want to hang on, or you have something else to do?
No, I not got nothing to do. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so here's a question I'm going to ask you, and then we can pick it after the break, right? In relation, and I agree with you, if we're all Caymanians, in the country, doesn't matter which island we live on or which district we're in a respective island. But in relation to Cayman Airways moving back and forth between the sister islands and Grand Cayman and the like, do we need, should we have, if so, a jet service? Yeah, I know the airline is looking at different sort of planes and the like. So maybe you could help us to get your perspective as to what type of aircraft from your, information would be not just economical, but safe, effective, efficient, the right sort of aircraft. Could we talk about that when you come back?
Yeah, man, cool.
All right. Stay tuned. Join us right after the break.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with Valley Med Pharmacy.
Teens and young people living in Cayman, it's time to use our voices. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is putting together a 10-year national health strategy, and we need to be a part of it. Do you feel heard by your doctor or healthcare provider? Are you included in making decisions about your health? Can you access the services you need easily? Tell us what you think. Email mohfeedback@gov.ky or log on to gov.ky/health-wellness and participate today.
Water Authority Cayman would like to inform their Cayman BRAC customers that there will be temporary interruptions to the water service from Monday, May 13th to Friday, May 17th between the hours of 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on specified days. Affected streets are Harold Drive, Hideaway Link, Ocean Villa Drive, Lime Lizard Way, Ryan's Drive, Stake Bay Front Road, Kirkconnell Street, Scarlet Drive, Foster Road, and the unnamed road at CB 104V. Please look out for our follow-up door hanger notice, which will be delivered the day before your service is scheduled to be interrupted. An additional door hanger notice will also be delivered upon restoration of your water service. These service interruptions are to facilitate Water Authority's ongoing leak detection project. The aim is to enhance our system's integrity by identifying and repairing all possible leaks. We advise customers to store enough water for personal use during service interruptions and limit the use of water-intensive appliances. For further information, customers may contact the customer service team in Cayman BRAC by calling 948-1403 or emailing braccs@waterauthority.ky. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it upgrades its water infrastructure and apologizes for any inconvenience caused. Start your day in the know. Don't miss a beat. Radio Cayman's 7 a.m. news keeps you informed every Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. Brought to you by Cayman National, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back. And James Albert Christian, thanks for hanging on. I just quick ask Susan something to make sure I didn't go astray. So thank you for holding on, man.
Yeah, man, no problem.
Yeah.
Well, that means you might got some chocolate for me about outside.
Wee. What is it? Wee.
That's how it goes, boy. If a man can't chase chocolate, he can't chase nothing else. So.
Boy, listen, that's the one thing to keep you out of trouble, you know what I mean?
I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you.
I'll be honest with you.
You was referencing there to the aircraft.
Right.
What they should. I was speaking to someone in Grand Cayman a few weeks ago, and telling them what the government need to seek and finding to replace those subs are the ATR. It's Alpha Tango Romeo, and it's the ATR 407. Either the 7 or the 6. Those aircrafts are known throughout the world, and they're outnumbering in Florida right now. Silver, they have an airlines in Florida called Silver, and they use them, and it's a perfect aircraft. It has the accommodation, it has the capacity to carry the luggage, and it's covering all the needs, and it settles the problems with their smaller.
How many passengers?
Routes. It can carry up to, depends on which size you get.
Right.
Like I say, you got either the 400, the 600, or the 700. They can carry from up to 45 to 50, 60 people, depends on which model it is.
Okay.
And the 700 is a larger one. I think 7 or the 8.
Now, that would be able to go between here and the Brack and Grand Cayman, but could it go over across to Little Cayman?
No.
Not presently?
Not.
Okay.
No, they would still, what they need to do, they need to get a third. Diablo and Twin Otter, they need to get a third one.
Okay.
But the problem they need to replace those subs with the ATRs. And someone, when I was speaking to them, they said they didn't know what ATR is. I said, you serious? I said, the next time you hear that FedEx is coming in Grand Cayman, go to the airport, and you'll see an ATR 400 coming there. FedEx. That's an ATR. If you have never seen her, go there when she fly in, and you'll see what she looks like.
Right. Now, with that, and you sort of answer, but let me ask specifically. So this would be your suggestion for the air transport between Grand Cayman and the Brack. Where else would you use that aircraft? What other routes presently, or, well, let's start with that first. Could that be?
That aircraft can also fly to Kingston. She can also fly to Montego Bay. She can fly to Honduras if she have to. She can fly to Miami if she have to.
Right.
It doesn't matter where you want to take an aircraft. Once you got the largest size, which is the 6 or the 7.
Right.
Those aircraft are used for short hauling or long hauling. It depends on the company suggestion of what they choose to do.
Right.
And these subs they're fast aircraft for their size, but they're not taking care of the problem between Cayman Brack and Grand Cayman, because like I said, the problem is, Sterling. Even though if the government was to get an ATR to fly between Cayman Brack and Grand Cayman, it will cover the amount of people, but they still need an extra flight in between that time of 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock or 8 o'clock, their second route. They need a fill-in that gap, that they have 2 other flights moving between Cayman Brack and Grand Cayman.
Right.
Now, they have 2 now, which is the sub that leaves Cayman Brack and goes direct to Grand Cayman, the Twin Otter that goes from Cayman Brack to Little and on to Grand. But very rarely you can get on that flight from Cayman Brack to Little to Grand. Very rare you can get on that, because the tourists, it's mostly booked with tourists going into Little Cayman, so it's difficult to get on that flight.
Okay.
And the sub can only take a certain amount, because of her size, she can only take a certain amount of passengers and luggage.
Right. Now, there are some people who have, over the years, been saying that having a jet, the Cayman Airways jet, whether that was the ones we had before or the ones we have now, that size and the distance between Grand Cayman and the back and forth, that's not cost effective. It's not good for the aircraft and the like. And I'm not an airline expert. I don't fly much as I love planes and the like. But your perspective only. How do you weigh in on that? Do you think having a jet, or would that be better, as you're saying, having a different type of aircraft?
Well, having a smaller jet, they're not going to go back to that route because remember Cayman Airways had the 737-300.
Right.
They were the smallest they had, the 300s. And they're not going to go back to that route. I can tell you, no government now will go back to that route. They're going to stick to the 73, the Max, or they'll go to the Max 9s. But I would doubt that they'll ever go back to the Max, to a 737.
Would we consider 777 or even one day Airbus?
Well, that's what they should do one day, is to try to get a 777. That will take care of the long hauls. But between Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac with the jet, there a lot of people are talking about, that jet is too big for between here and there. Come on, listen. They got Southwest and those companies, American Airlines, that go from Miami to Fort Lauderdale. And that is probably about the same distance of Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac. Right. And they never, ever one day had an issue with their jets flying that distance of time and between Fort Lauderdale and Miami.
Right.
And they got to come up with the excuse because they don't want the Max 8 to land Cayman Brac. That is the only issue. And the problem is, Sterling, we need the Max 8 to come here once a week from Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac via Cayman Brac to Miami. That is what we need. And I said that to the minister the last time. And I told him I didn't disrespect him in no way, but he needs to up his arm of what he's doing. That airline should be giving us the benefits, not for Cayman Bracos to come Grand Cayman and sit down 6 hours in the airport to wait on a flight to go to Miami. The same way that flight can come from Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac, pick up the passengers here and go on to Miami. It's the same route. And it would benefit the Bracos often much better than what we are getting now, because we're getting absolutely nothing.
I hear what you're saying, and I just want to repeat it just to make sure I did not misunderstand you. Your view is that the Max 8s can very, very efficiently, economically, safely, mechanically, and all the good things that would, not in any which way harm the aircraft or the like, take off from Grand Cayman, land in the Brac, or take off the Brac and land in the Cayman. That distance, to your opinion, that doesn't, create any problems for the airline or the aircraft or the like.
That shouldn't create no issue. The problem is, and what they're saying is, what I come to find out, I went and Googled that aircraft comparing to the 737-800. Remember, they had an 800, but it was a regular 800 ER. It wasn't the Max. The Max didn't come out yet.
That was the extended range one. Yeah.
And then they had the 400, and then they had the original 800, which would have been the same size of the Max 8, same size, because they still have the 800s coming Grand Cayman by American Airlines and United. There's still 800s and 900s coming in there. Now I had no issue then. The only thing I find difference with the original 800 and the Max 8 is the Max 8 is faster. I find out she is faster. So when they're coming in on approach, the speed that she comes in at, I'm not an air traffic control, but I work where I listen to air traffic many times, and I understand when they're approaching on the 5 mile final, they have to reduce their speed. It's kind of difficult sometimes for that Max 8 coming in to reduce her speed because she coming in so fast. They have to reduce their speed in order to get to the point of where they need to for the touchdown mark, the landing mark. But that should not be an issue. It's because when I fly on that Max from Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac or Cayman Brac to Grand Cayman, I don't find no other problems unless, like what I said, she's faster. she's faster than the original 8. But landing, I don't find no problem. Taking off, she takes off much easier than the original 800. To me, the original 800 were heavier than this Mark 8. This Mark 8 has a better takeoff, a better lift.
Right.
And I don't see where they shouldn't be making it an issue, trying to say, oh, Cayman Brac don't need the Mark 8 coming here. So if we don't need the Mark 8 coming here, what in the world are they expect us to get, or what they expect to do us in to take us down to nothing? Because we got to sit down and wait on this old unreliable piece of junk that they fly us here called the slab. I don't know why they don't take them things out of service, because those things are nothing but a bunch of problems. And we got to sit down here hoping that we can get on a flight, and if she break down, then we can't get to Grand Cayman. Some people going down for their medical, heart problems, or whatever problem may be, then they can't meet their schedules for their appointments, and then it creates. So that's where a problem to me comes in, because they need to get their priorities straight to know that Cayman Brac has a proper aircraft that can support Cayman Brac during the day, and not talking about just having one twin otter and one sub. They have 2 subs and 2 twin otters. Why it is that my question is why it is that it only on a weekend that they can operate these 4 aircrafts? Why they can't do it right through the whole week?
Yeah, and you're talking to scheduling, but I wonder if I might, and I recognize the time, if it's quote unquote sort of the political expectations and demands. And for instance, if a decision was made where the voters say, oh, the politician is doing this, but that's driven by the business case, as they use that phrase, how would the voters respond? And would that potentially punish the politician at the polls because they're looking at profits, and the like?
But Sterling, I know time is late right now, but you know what they got to look after? The person that say, oh, Cayman Brac gonna have the the accommodation.
Okay.
That first, they always use that stupid excuse. That excuse, Sterling, they have been using that for the last 35 years.
Yeah, man.
And I don't understand why they can't get to a point and say, listen, we are all Caymanians. Let's help all 3 islands. Let's stop basing on one island.
Right.
If it wasn't for Cayman Brac, Grand Cayman wouldn't have the source of what they need. So they still have to rely on Cayman Brac, whether they like it or whether they don't.
Right. The next time we speak, if you're inclined, let me leave you with this to consider, if you would, in terms of the national budget of the country. The districts, the islands, there are certain needs and demands. So from the Cayman Brac perspective, 2 things. What is it that you think is lacking and what's needed? And then secondly, say that the high school discussion relative to the expenditure, how do you feel about some of the funds that are, being spent on the Brac? Should we spend this or that and this amount? Give us a thought, and maybe the next time we chat, if you wish, you can weigh in.
You write that down, because I already got answers to that. So you write that down and make sure that we topic on that, because I want for a long time to bring that up. So
okay.
Don't let me hold up no more time, bro.
No, thank you very much, and thanks to Ms. Susan for structuring that. We'll talk when you're ready. You call back. You got it wrote down. You can share. All right.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
The one and only James Albert Christian, as Mr. O.C. calls in the bottler man. Well, let's take this break for the news and join us after.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. The Cayman Islands Postal Service advises the public that the General Post Office in Georgetown will close over the holiday weekend, May 18th till the 20th, to undergo tenting and fumigation procedures. Customers are encouraged to clear their post boxes before the evening of Friday, May 17th, as access to post boxes will be temporarily restricted until the fumigation process is complete. In international news, at least 11 worshippers have been killed and dozens others injured after a man attacked a mosque in Nigeria. A man allegedly sprayed the mosque with petrol and locked its doors before setting it on fire, trapping about 40 worshippers, police said. The attack was triggered by a family dispute over the sharing of inheritance. Police say they have arrested a 38-year-old suspect. The incident happened when people were attending morning prayers on Wednesday. Kansas City Chief star Harrison Butker has faced criticism for attacking abortion rights and telling women graduates at Benedictine College that one of their most important roles in life is to be a homemaker. The Chiefs have not commented, and the NFL said it was a personal matter. However, more than 90,000 people signed a petition calling for his dismissal. In his speech on May 11th, the 3-times Super Bowl winner addressed women graduates in the crowd, telling them that they had been told the most diabolical lies. His speech at the Catholic private college also attacked IVF, surrogacy, pride marches, degenerate cultural values, dangerous gender ideologies, and abortion rights. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
At Kirk Market, it's so easy to eat well and find healthy options. With their fresh veggies from local farmers, hormone-free chicken, local seafood, and grass-fed meats, Kirk Market has delicious, quality food at the best prices. And you must check out their fresh salad bar, hot bar, and med bar for daily healthy options on the go. Their delicious dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients such as prime meats and organic veggies. Eating great is important to me. That's why Kirk Market is my store. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and shop happy.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks to all of our callers, but in particular, the gentleman just then, Mr. James Albert Christian, for, as you say, sharing his perspective. There's a saying, he who feels it, knows it. And perhaps part of the challenges that we have sometimes is that we're not willing to share our views because, sadly, we get castigated for having an opinion. Sometimes people either have their own ill-informed perceptions. Sometimes it may be that what they're thinking is accurate, but it doesn't mean that the person should be precluded from having a particular position and sharing that perspective. So, with his, sort of courageous stance, would you do likewise and call? Certainly the invitation is there. We want to create an opportunity for you to share, recognizing that we have individually a sense of responsibility. We certainly must, in many instances, be willing to be that person who courageously speaks out, stands up, and through that may encourage and inspire others to do likewise. 949-8037, 949-6990. And my question to, James Albert Christian, Mr. Albert, as we say, wasn't leading. It certainly wasn't intended for anything other than for us to acknowledge that the Cayman Islands, whether a budget is $1 million or $1 billion, whether the government decides that it's going to spend money on this thing, it has to probably, in many instances, make a conscious decision. By so doing, it won't have that money or that amount, to spend on something else. Now, if it's in a particular part of the country, maybe one district over the next or one island over the next, is it getting value for money? Is it that the people will benefit most from having that thing done? And why is it that we seemingly have this notion that if government is going to do something, that it's going to cost more than it should, that it's not going to be as effectively or efficiently managed, that the outcome is expected to be less than? Well, would you accept that if that was your money? Maybe. I would, but perhaps some do. But it isn't that this is our money. It's worse than that. It is our children's money. The demands placed on the people in the country, not just the voters, but many times many others, will cause a government to spend money on roads, housing, education, healthcare, other services, sometimes physical infrastructure that is going to have to be paid for over time, either repayment on borrowing or the raising of taxes. But even if it wasn't, would it be that that money would then be available for something else? Now, with that in mind, I ask you, what are we thinking? What are we demanding? What are we asking? What are we prioritizing? What are we wanting, requiring? What do we need? 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp call 925-3261. So late last evening and partly on Monday as well, some individuals were sharing that if we look at what is happening in Cayman relative to the population growth, we're seeing a number of things. The more people, the more work permits, the more development. Of course, the more potential revenue for a government, the more business opportunities, the more that the businesses can make more money. But also, are we cognizant of the costs, the actual financial costs, the money the government has to spend to build new roads and infrastructure and to maintain that infrastructure, the social costs, the spaces that perhaps once were uninhabited are now being developed, the spaces where there weren't that much congestion, the beaches, the parks, the dikes and the like are now being heavily utilized as people try to find, space. But what about the roads themselves? You're getting from one place to the next. You might all of a sudden find that that's taking a bit longer. Is that affecting your, sort of sense of well-being? Is that costing you more money and time spent in traffic? Is that affecting the maintenance of your vehicle? Is that translating into other things? And if so, what can be done about that? Well, all costs that are many times are not acknowledged, and because they're ignored, they're not addressed and assessed, and as a consequence, people are not truly aware of that cost. I gave us an example, and I was looking during the break to see if I could find it. Remember 2 or 3 administrations ago, there was some work done on what is called the Island Heritage Roundabout, and it required a couple of attempts. There were some dips in the road and it was going to, and as a consequence, traffic was heavily delayed. One of our more sort of knowledgeable and experienced individuals had done a little small study. There is a WhatsApp call coming in, Ms. Susan. We'll take that call once we can. That number is 925-3261. The other numbers are 949-6990 or 949-8037. Let's take the call on the WhatsApp. Hey, thanks for calling.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Excellent. Been a while. How are you?
Been a while. I'm here. The 1-800-534-8255 toll free not working no more. What happened to that?
I'll try to. No, short answer is no. It's not working anymore. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah.
Okay.
That's not working.
They took it away from you. Or what?
I probably should know the proper answer and the required equipment needed to get it operational, but it's not accessible right now.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I was calling about the Boson Bay Road that needs to be repaved and stuff down by the cemetery and down to the Boson Bay here.
Yeah, you had a call about that some time back. That hasn't been addressed yet for you.
I've been talking about this for a long time now. Well, from ever since I know, I've been a couple of years well now, I think. But I don't see no movement with it. And I guess they would say the budget is gone and that's not in the budget and next year, or I don't know what's really going on. They said a representative and stuff like that, a real nice guy, but he never answered my calls. But I appreciate that still, I don't hold people up. I don't get up my feelings for people. But it's so sad to know that down here in Boson Bay is a place where forever people is dying and laid to rest, and family and people big in society and big in positions and and they can't even get Bosun Bay Road paved, repaved, and down by the cemetery look like something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sad. Yeah, and then next year, I know they'll be coming around looking for a vote.
With that, though, if I might ask, then, is it that it's the politician that should get that? Is it that they should be the, roads authority? Or, I mean, how?
Well, I was told I called you to live, and I was told that I need to speak to my representative, and I called Catherine Tyson, and she gave me the number from a representative. You should have to do that. So I'm kind of confused.
Yeah,
I'm kind of confused because like 1 minute they're telling you gotta go through representative, and then you gotta go through NRA, and then tell me where it is, because I don't know my ass from my head.
Yeah. What I understand, there was a practice some time back. This is just a general understanding that when it came to capital projects, road work, street lighting, and the like, that somehow the politicians perhaps identify certain priority areas in terms of road works. I want to say that to ask, following a comment from someone again more recently, should that be something that's undertaken on a technical level independently, whether it's through a roads authority, the public works infrastructure committee, or the like, they'll look at roads and those things and say, okay, well, this would be a priority area, this is necessary. And maybe that has been happening, but for whatever reason, we still have a perception of the politician. Maybe there's still an influence, who knows? But I can see your confusion.
It's like beating a dead horse.
Mm-hmm.
That's like down there by the Presbyterian Church. I fight for a pedestrian crossing there, the signs there, but all of them I can't get the blinking lights. Look like Christmas down here, but then I'm down on next down the end by Western Holiness. They made Christmas down there after that. And I've been fighting this from time Arden McLean days. The time to Mr. Arden for having to get the pedestrian crossing and thing there, and Mr. J, the minister now for work, say he got the signs and stuff up, but all now I can't see the lights, and people going across the Sundays, all and every night is church night, and people going to basketball court, passing from the next side of the road, children, school children. I mean, come on, man. If anybody need it, that's down Bosun Bay. Bosun Bay, the biggest business part of West Bay, the biggest trucks and trailers and this and that coming through here.
Mm-hmm.
If they're talking about a busy road, we need it.
Yeah, we have that scheduled break. And then another caller. Can we pick it up with you another time?
Yeah, I tired of calling talk,
I can understand the frustration. I can hear that your impassioned plea seems to be falling on their affairs. Huh? That can be frustrating, but don't lose faith. Hang on, okay?
Ivan, we need another one.
All right, with that, we'll pause. And when we come back, I pray for continued safety. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com. This Mother's Day, Digicel wants to take you to brunch. We're giving away brunch vouchers for you and mom to enjoy a delightful feast together. Winning is easy. Simply activate the postpaid Supreme plan or the 30-day Prime Max plan, and you could be our lucky winner. Don't let the chance to treat mom to a special day out slip away. Visit your nearest Digicel store today or hop onto the My Digicel app for your shot at winning. Make this Mother's Day a memorable one with Digicel.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymanational.com today.
Teens and young people living in Cayman, it's time to use our voices. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is putting together a 10-year national health strategy, and we need to be a part of it. Do you feel heard by your doctor or healthcare provider? Are you included in making decisions about your health? Can you access the services you need easily? Tell us what you think. Email mohfeedback@gov.ky or log on to gov.ky/health-wellness and participate today.
The Passport and Corporate Services Office is advising travelers to check their passports to ensure all is in order ahead of summer holiday travels. Travelers should check their passport validity, verify entry requirements for the destination, and apply for or renew passports and visas early. For more information, call 345-649-7678 or email passportandcorporate@gov.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thank you so much for calling us. We have one more. We'll take this next. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Hey, Sterling. Dominic Ebanks here. Good afternoon. How you doing?
Hey, Don, been a while, man. How are you?
As I always say, Sterling, any better, I couldn't stand it. Still there. You know, any day above ground, I'll be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, listening to all your callers there, you know, one from the Brock talking about, you know, those things, and of course the last caller going off there from, you know, the beautiful constituents of Botham Bay, which is a very old district, and you know, you're talking about the Turtle Farm or the Turtle Center, and a lot of other established businesses that use that entire, you know, arterial to commute up and down, with all the development going on now, and as well there's a lot of heavy equipment, etc., as the last one was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I was glad to hear her, and it's not the first time she's called a lot.
She has, yes.
Voicing her concern, yes, and of course she resides right on one of the, I should say, iconic turns in Botham Bay, which is like a landmark, you know, because even when you go on your Google map, the Botham Bay Road is quite twisted, and it's a nice little drive if you know, taking your time. You know, and she's probably being affected, I think, probably more than anybody else on that.
And her appeal benefits everybody. I mean, as she references, not just the churches, but the children playing right there on a basketball court. You know, can we do something to make it as safe as possible? Is all she's asking, you know.
I certainly think they can do so, and they should have did so for her a long time ago as well by, you know, not just allowing, you know, I saw her fence was knocked down. I don't even think anyone knows exactly who did it because there's no cameras in the area as well. But, you know, be the public works or, you know.
Right. But Dominic, I don't want to put you off, right? But from what she shared and what you're saying, I'm asking, you know, where is the mindset, the ethos? Where is that thing in our society now that says common sense and consideration, honesty and integrity? You know, the things that make a society safe and healthy. The Botham Bay Road, the Mount Pleasant Road, going through, you know, South Sound, Barker's Road, the middle of Georgetown, even on our supposed need highways, there are posted speed limits, right? There is, you know, surrounding developments. There are other cars and road users. Should we not sensibly, I mean, without being told, without the threat of a fine or having a license suspended, know that we should probably drive a little bit more? Would it be okay to say sensibly, with a little bit more consideration, with a little more caution? I mean,
a bit more mindful, Sterling, a bit more mindful.
There you go, another word.
You know, but just to pause you on that, you know, I just wanted to bring up her. I would just bring, so obviously she was the last caller, but, you know, as you mentioned, you know, throughout this whole island, we see every day these rules of common sense being broken. For example, people parking on the sidewalks just to go to the beach, they're going past these no trespassing signs, entering onto those properties, not even down at the water markers or saying go and occupying them. So there's a lot of lawlessness, if you almost want to use that point, because that's what it sort of is, for most of these other things. But, safety, a lot of these things, and I think, the last caller really pointed out to the fact that it was some responsibility of the government official or department or whatever to, assess the situation where she's staying and amend it as best as possible, not for her, but for the public, right?
Mm-hmm.
And going through those other arterials you find as well, to where we have, these businesses or churches that are putting up these walls without sidewalks being placed there first, and then the wall being set back by the additional footage that it needs. You go through Boson Bay, you'll find that. You go through Northwest Bay, you start go East End and other places, you start to see individuals doing it too as well, because the road is so small that they don't want to give up any of the little land that they have in order to, so it becomes very, I guess, complex in some areas, but in other areas, I guess it's a matter of reaching out to the individuals from a representative's point. You should be able to go to that constituent and say, hey, what's the situation, even if they haven't reached out to you, because you can see from common sense it's something that needs to be addressed, and it may be multiple ones, and of course it's been going on so long, you can tell that either they turned a blind eye, or obviously it's not a priority on their list, because you see other areas that are being repaved and set back and fixed, and for various reasons. But again, it still boils down to that political representative obviously to reach out and say, hey, we're going to rectify this problem, not just for this individual, but for the whole community, But still, away from that, a lot of it is being driven by, we have this artificial population growth that we're doing, and it's obviously triggered on its own, because as I spoke and said the last time, if you put, a rooster and 10 hens in a coop, you're not going to end up with, 10 chickens or 11 chickens for very long. That would multiply and multiply. So those numbers that you try to add in and artificially, now they will multiply as well. And of course, the speed of our development has taken off, and a lot of it is based on one problem. A lot of it is based on people's hopes too. I don't want to use the word greed, to be honest with you, Sterling, because I see a lot of Caymanians as well that are doing development, and they have set hopes of building some apartments and finding occupants to rent it. But to do that, it is going to take a foreign individual who has come here to reside, or one of your own locals who don't have no space so they got rent, like that. So, and of course, if you slow it down based on the already approved development plans, it will affect a lot of them too, so it has this ripple effect that once you started trying to stop the good old ship Cayman, sometimes it's going to be a hard one,
So what do we do?
It's going to take good representation.
Mm-hmm. With that increased artificial, I said artificial growth in our population, and what do we do about it? I mean, what is your suggestion, solution? I mean, what are your thoughts?
My thought on it is that, you have to somehow slow it down and sort of prioritize it, because there are obviously individuals that really qualify who are to be Caymanians. And a lot of them have been sitting on the plate for a very long time, and they haven't, they're still not Caymanians as long as they've been here, right? And they've gone past all these times, and if you got people coming in after them, becoming Caymanians based on certain merits as well, So is this not only off balance for those people, but for the Caymanian, and I got to put myself in the ring now. When I went out and saved myself $100,000 to buy a piece of property up in the high ends of Morgan's Harbour, Badamanu area, when I came back, the thing is now $200. Now I got to work twice as hard, and my job don't pay me double, so now I got to work another job and find a way to obtain it, because that's my dream where I want to be. Or I deter and I move out of West Bay and find myself somewhere up in High Rock, where maybe that same money can give me 4 times the size of property and all that kind of stuff. So us Caymanians are facing the sort of cleansing in itself as well too. We've been here for the time in a grass piece was a house lot, and it's not that way anymore.
Mm-hmm. But with that in mind, though, I mean, do you think that because a person has been in Cayman for a period of time, 5 years, 15 years, whatever the number, just that time alone, should that in and of itself give a person citizenship, Caymanian status, or the like? I mean, does that time equate to, that right to be Caymanian, or however we define that?
Well, I guess, the time is obviously of the essence, because none of us would be Caymanians unless we had been here for a period of time, and our ancestors lived that time and has passed that on to us, right? And what that time is measured in currently, maybe 10 years or whatever the current limit on it is, and then sort of get these rights that sort of trip in. I don't personally believe that time is the essence, like I said. Obviously, if you had, a relative or something that was already here before you, and of course now, time and that together would add up and say, okay,
Right.
it's not just time, but you now have something to support this time that you've gotten here. You didn't just show up here to work for Sterling or Dominique, and all of a sudden now 10 years later, because you think you've worked for them for 10 years, that gives you the right to be one of them. That only gives you the right to apply for another 10 years.
But should it give you the right to
No,
apply?
but our land and survey system is also something where it allows you to buy property not being a Caymanian, right? And if you stop that, a lot of Caymanians are going to get vexed because they'll be like, yeah, I got hectares of land, I'm trying to sell it off, and I got foreign buyers lining up to buy this thing at top dollar, right? So if you go ahead and stop that, for example, that foreigners can't buy Cayman property, you'll start to find how things slow down really quick in migration, because all of those people who are coming in, when I built 20 apartments, I expected 20 people to migrate here to rent them. I didn't expect 20 of my Caymanians to go up. I expected them not to be my tenants. I expect them to be fellow landlords. But we are turning around to be the tenants of our tenants. You understand? So to stop that, the land transfer from Caymanian to anybody who doesn't have those rights, that halt on that alone will trigger a big effect on a lot of people, right?
So
real estate agents and everything, and of course maybe it's not enough of them to come up against us to say, well, hey, that's what we're going to do, so it doesn't really matter. You just got to find a different career. I left school Sterling doing electrical and electronics, right? By the time I started up some businesses in it, and it was supposed to make millions of dollars for me, right? I found myself making millions and spending millions because all of a sudden now competitors started to come in. And I was wondering at first where this happened from, and I realized, people that used to perhaps even say work for me, they became my competitor. They got married to Caymanian, and that's the skill and trade they wanted. So obviously the 100 people, customers we had now had to be shared between us. No matter how good, it all depended on the quality of my service and so forth, right? The service, that's the key right there, quality of it, right? And that, it was a survival. And obviously, of course, to get more business for both these businesses, you need to import more people, right? Or people need to have more babies and consume more, because we're on a consumption.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Yeah. But Sterling, at the end of the day, the thing is that it has to be slowed down or stopped altogether, because you can't really just have any and everybody just coming here. The world is going to be getting ready. We're already probably in what we call sort of World War III. It just sort of takes the wrong spark to trigger it, because we saw, if you're somebody who look back in history, even from television or reading a book or hearing stories from some of the elders, you will know that these are wars, because these wars haven't stopped. These are people still fighting for what the next one got, right? And if we don't fight for what we have, then it didn't make no sense to even talk about it.
Yeah, man.
So
I appreciate you sharing when you get a chance, man. Hey, thanks for calling us. All right.
Yeah, I keep safe.
All right, all the best, man. And that will be, I'm told, the very last call. Look how quickly time flies. And we were expecting our friends from the crisis center. They did message to say they are unable, and regrettably they have to reschedule. So we understand that. Just recognize that things happen and people's schedules change unexpectedly. We will accommodate them, though, next Thursday, God's willing, if that works for them. Please join Mr. Orrit tomorrow morning for the record. Come back for Talk Today right after the midday news. We invite you to always be a part of the program in every day Cayman has to offer. Keeps you informed, keeps you updated, and it certainly always extends a willing invitation to be a part of our program and start your day off right. Listen to Mr. Orrit for the record, man. The best morning show that you will have. All right. I won't make any requests of Susan, but I know in the song she plays is going to be good music. So thank you all very much. God's willing, we'll see you tomorrow.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
If they are talking about us,
living in your head rent-free all this time.
we must be relevant. Radio Cayman since 1970.